Hi, this is Cameron back again, showing off my collection. Now I'm starting with the first 25 albums in my W part of my vinyl collection. I've got about 200, 250 albums that start with the letter W, so this will take about 8 or 10 videos, so we'll get started right away. First off, a really great pop band with Bob Segarini, the Whackers. Whackering Height. So they started off in the United States and then later on moved in 1972 to Canada, where they were very popular. Whackering Heights, first album. This is from 1971. Then their second album is called Hot Wax. That came out in 1972. Just show it. So originally they were part of Family Tree. Bob Segarini was part of Family Tree, then Roxy, then 3 Whackers albums, and then later on some solo Bob Segarini albums, like Vox Populi. Third album by the Whackers from 1973, Shredder. Oops, having a problem getting it out of the bag. Now an album that got damaged by water, sort of electronic album, Adrian Wagner, supposedly was related to Richard Wagner. This is from 1974, sort of electronic music. And some country music with Pop Wagner from 1980. Seen him at our Folk Fest. Then I got some classical albums for free from our library at the university where I work. One of them is a Richard Wagner album with 5 CD box set. So it's good for broadening my tastes in music. Then the Maverick Years. This is sort of a new wave kind of music, and it's just a white cover, and I've put the inner sleeve here. Another Story of the Blues. And of course, what collection would be complete without a few Hawaiian albums? So here we have the Waikiki Hulu Boys. It originally came out in the 50s, but this is looks like a later issue, maybe in the early 60s. The Waikiki Hula Boys. Now, when I pick up Hawaiian albums, it's always authentic Hawaiian music rather than some German band playing their version of Hawaiian music or some orchestra. So I always try to pick up authentic music with actual Hawaiian artists. I'm sure I have a few that aren't, but that's what I try to do. This is called Hawaii Beach Party, and originally it came out in 1965. Another Waikiki's albums. Pearly Shells from Hawaii, another album probably from the mid-60s. Of course, you always get beautiful women on the cover, which is always a nice bonus. Certainly attraction for purchasing the albums when they first came out, and then of course just the whole exotic nature of Hawaii as being the new state in a beautiful out in the middle of the sea. Rick Wakeman, the the Myths and Legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. So keyboardist from Yes. And then Journey to the Center of the Earth, which came out in 1974. Another classical album I got for free from our library. Helmut Vodka plays Bach. And then a Wendy Waldman album from 1982, Which Way to Main Street, so a singer-songwriter. The songs played by Maria Muldaur and others. Now I have 8 albums in a row by Jerry Jeff Walker. My favorite, of course, is the first one from 1968, Mr. Bojangles, country artist. First album's a little bit more country folk. The rest are definitely country-ish. So Mr. Bojangles, famous song. Next one is Viva Terlingua from 1973. Then Walker's Collectibles from 1974. From 1976. It's a Good Night. It's a Good Night for Singing. Now this glare I'm going to try and reduce by getting a standalone camera in the next couple days, rather than depending upon the laptop camera. So hopefully the resolution will be a lot better. A Man Must Carry On, Jerry Jeff Walker, 1977, double album. So all sort of pleasant country. Contrary to Ordinary. And then just Jerry Jeff. It's the last one I have. So I picked these all up when I saw a bunch of them in a sale bin at the local record store. So as I said, it's pleasant country, but I especially like Mr. Bojangles. Okay, next up, oh, sorry, one more. Cow Jazz, Jerry Jeff Walker. Next up is a big change of pace. It's Tom Waits, Frank's Wild Years, supposedly originally from a play that he did in the 80s. Then finally an Irish singer, songwriter with a deep voice, recorded in 1972, released in 1975, Eugene Wallace, Dangerous. So that's the first of my about 8 or 10 videos of my collection of albums that start with the letter W. Please leave your comments below or any questions you might have, and get ready for the next episode of the album starting with the letter W. So have a good evening. Bye bye.